Hi, I'm Chris, horror filmmaker and fanatic, here to explain how scary things are. Today, I'm talking about Stranger Things Season 2, released in 2017. 1 year after the events of Season 1, Will Byers finds himself the target of the Upside Down once again, as a large tentacled entity called the Mind Flayer soon terrorizes the citizens of Hawkins. The core cast returns with all new stories continuing their fight against supernatural forces, as well as newcomers who will find themselves thrust into the dark, shadowy world hidden in the town of Hawkins. Rotten Tomatoes score of 94%, audience score of 90%, a little bit lower than Season 1, and of course, it's a Netflix show, so we don't know the budget or the box office, but it's Stranger Things, so it was a smash hit. Today, I'll be going over what makes Stranger Things Season 2 scary in 4 key categories, and just like Season 1, because this is a TV show, instead of giving a solid number applied to each of the categories, I will be given a gradient to show the highs and the lows of the season, because some episodes are definitely scarier than others. If you don't want spoilers, I highly suggest skipping to this time code where I will just give a quick overview of all the categories without giving away spoilers. But also this video will include spoilers for Season 1 because I'm talking about Season 2 after Season 1, so hopefully if you're watching this video then you've already seen Season 1, you know, all that. But either way, skip to the time code if you don't want Season 2 spoiled, and let's get it on and find out how scary is Stranger Things Season 2. First category, the thrills, the intense, heart-pounding excitement of any horror media. Season 2 has the whole spectrum. It goes from low to high because let me tell you, Season 2 starts off slow. There is not much thrills going on, and even just aside from like scary thrills, just the overall energy and pacing of the season I think suffers early on, and it takes a little bit long for the conflict to really kick in. It's not until Will Byers finally gets possessed by the shadowy demon when like we actually get to some thrills in the season. And then the thrills just keep building up throughout the season. Episode 4 has a really great scene where Eleven has a huge temper tantrum and breaks all of the windows. That was a good thrill. And then they keep building until the momentum is cut down severely with episode 7, which has been critiqued by many people, including myself. I would say that that is definitely the weakest episode of Stranger Things and was definitely a misstep. But episode 8 and 9, they're thrilling. They are definite finales to this extra long season and really pay off a lot of what we've been waiting to happen. What really brings the thrills to so high is definite scenes like the entire lab invasion with the Demodogs and Will's family trying to break through his possession, and he's like freaking out. That's really fun. To Steve versus Billy, their little fight, and then the epic finale, 11 shutting the gate. That is definitely a huge thrilling moment that, in my opinion, actually pushes past Season 1's thrills. So I, at the end, would put Season 2's thrills higher than Season 1, but it takes a while to get there, so that's why you get the whole gradient. Next category, the grossness, the disgusting, ew stuff that your mom wouldn't want to look at. Season 2 is very tame with the grossness. Season 1 had some stuff going on, but 2, not a whole lot. You got the little gross pumpkins, sure, they're all kind of infected, but they're not on screen that long. Dart, as a character, I guess he's like slimy and gross, but he's kind of cute at the same time and played up for cuteness, so that's kind of forgiven. The Upside Down tunnels, that's kind of gooey and gross. Just anything with the Upside Down usually has like a little bit of grossness to it. We also have my man Bob Newby getting pranked by those Demodogs. That scene is the first real death that we have seen of a character that we cared about, and he's got a little bit of blood and stuff that he spurts out, you know, that's sure. And then probably the most like gross scene, I guess, would be Will getting infected by the shadow monster, just it going inside of him and all that. That's kind of freaky, but yeah, there's not much grossness here, so I guess we'll just move on. Next up, shock value, the disturbing, surprising content that you didn't expect to see in this little TV show on Netflix. And just like Season 1, there's a little bit of a gradient. It definitely has some highs and lows, but the highs are still pretty tame in the grand scheme of horror. You know, this is Stranger Things. It is a family-friendly show, so I can't give it a 10 ever. That'll never happen. But for family show, it's about there. It's not too bad. The first real things that kind of surprised me in the show, it was definitely the character of Billy and just how psychotically like crazy he was. Like he went beyond just like abusive stepbrother to just like maniac, and that was a little shocking. I feel like the show maybe pushed it a little too far and it was a little cartoonish, but you know, poor Will as well. Just his entire plotline this season is definitely what drives things forward, and especially in the horror department, pretty much all these categories are going to revolve around Will being possessed, and that is a legitimate shocking moment because Season 1 was all about trying to get him back, so Season 2 you kind of expected him to be part of the show more, just like as a normal person, but then he gets possessed at the end of episode 3 after he was following advice that Bob Newby gave him, so it was already set up like, all right, maybe he'll escape this and use the advice that he was given, but no, he got possessed anyway, and then he's possessed the rest of the season, and it's all dark from there. And it's like, wow, okay, that's kind of surprising too. Also, Terry Ives' backstory, that entire horrific event, just being played back with all of the memories, that was very surprising. And especially just her like showing up, just shooting a guard and everything. That was pretty shocking. Oh, shocking also because she got head zapped. Man, I didn't even realize that. Oh yeah, and no one talks about this, but Dart, cute little demodog, ate a cat. Ate Dustin's cat, dead. We saw it. We saw it all. No one cares. Everyone loves Dart. I don't get that. I'm sure if that was a cute little puppy, then everyone would be up in arms about it, but nah, it's a cat, so whatever. Also shocking, episode 7, best episode ever, sure, but the punk gang, a bunch of kids and teenagers that actually just kind of go around robbing and killing people. That was pretty shocking. And then as well, almost turning 11 to the dark side, where she almost just kind of choked a guy out with the force. You know, maybe the guy deserved it, maybe he didn't, but it's still like, 11's like 11 or 12 years old, and you know, you're getting her to do this? That's a little dark. Okay, we're getting to some dark territory. However, there are a couple things that I think the show didn't realize was shocking, but to me it was shocking and did not belong in the show. First of all, the conspiracy theorist guy, I don't remember his name, but he just straight up eggs on 2 underage teenagers to have sex in his house after feeding them vodka. That was just weird. That just does not fit, and it's played up for comedy, of course, but like, it's not funny. It's just weird and gross. So, okay, that shocked me a bit. And then also the entire little scene in the finale where Billy meets Karen Wheeler and he hits on her and she falls for it and is immediately very attracted to this guy who's like 17 years old. And like, okay, yeah, the actor's over 18, thank God, but you know, it's still like, what? You're married? Yeah, your husband's a doofus, but that doesn't mean you can just do that. And she was shown as like a good character that we're supposed to like. And once again, the scene is played off for comedy, but I think that was just weird and did not belong. So yeah, those are shocking moments that I think the show didn't intend to be shocking, but I'll throw it in there. And then the final category, the most important category for the scare-o-meter, would be atmosphere, the overall tone and feeling of the show. How well is it building up that fear? And season 2 has a wide range, ranging from the bottom to the mid. There are some legit scary moments that happen in the show that I think actually rival season 1 and maybe go beyond it, but it takes a while to get there because there's plenty of episodes where nothing is really happening, and that's why we also have the gradient going all the way down to the bottom, because the horror definitely took a backseat early on in the show. I think the show was very proud of itself because it was this huge popular thing, so they kind of just played up more comedy and fun, silly adventures with these kids and didn't really focus on the horror at first. And not only do I miss the horror, but also I think that was just a detriment to the show because there was no conflict happening. It was just kids doing silly things and like, oh, you love these characters, right? Sure, I like them, but I need things to be happening, you know? But then the horror starts kicking in once Will gets possessed, and I think that entire plot line is very well done and is genuinely creepy because you already had him missing, which was like, ooh, what could be happening? But now that we know what's happening, we still don't really, because now he's possessed, and it's like, wait, what are the rules of him being possessed? And that's kind of creepy in itself. Also, the shadow monster is just creepy as well. That's a really cool face of the Upside Down to see, like, oh god, okay, that's scary. But then what actually pushes this season possibly past season 1 for the atmosphere has got to be the first half of episode 8. Probably my favorite part of the show, at least for the horror stuff, is that entire lab storyline where the demodogs invade, and there's just a ton of people getting killed everywhere, and the main characters are hiding, and Bob has to like sneak around, and he doesn't really know if he's gonna make it, and then of course he ends up not making it, and he dies a gruesome death, and that whole atmosphere just felt like straight out of a zombie movie and was really cool. Just that whole survival aspect was really fun and genuinely scary. Moving on to the overview of season 2 of Stranger Things, non-spoilers of course. As you can see, Grossness is very tame just right away. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, the Upside Down is just kind of gross in itself, but there's not as much stuff that's playing that up in this season, maybe as there was in season 1. Above that, we have shock value, which kind of ebbs and flows. It definitely is very tame at first, and there's not, you know, many things that might surprise you, but then there's a few pockets along the way that kind of get to you. And there's a few that I think the show didn't mean to be shocking, and I haven't heard many people talk about it, but I personally found certain things in this season shocking that probably didn't fit, but that would be up to you if you have seen the season, or if you want to watch it. You can let me know if you kind of figure out which moments are like, wait, that's actually kind of shocking. Let me know in the comments. And then the next highest category would be atmosphere. This season definitely has an entire gradient because horror definitely takes a backseat for a few episodes. It takes a while for the season to really get going, but once it starts getting going, it definitely rivals season 1 and legitimately gets into some good horror territory. And then finally, this huge gradient, the thrill thrills. As you can see, it goes from the bottom to the top. This season starts off very slow in my opinion, and there's not a whole lot of thrills and excitement going on. But then, by the end, if you wait for it, it does get pretty dang thrilling and is very exciting. Recommendations for Season 2 of Stranger Things: if you liked Season 1, then watch Season 2, of course. If you thought Season 1 was okay, you might not like Season 2. I think Season 2 kind of suffers from being too proud of itself and just lets its characters run loose for a bit and thinks that's enough. Oh, you know, we don't have to try as hard now because we've proven that we're popular. But in my opinion, you need still conflict and story, and never lose sight of the fact that, like, you can lose your audience quickly, so keep us invested. I'm a harsh critic, I guess. You know, there's plenty of people who are fine with just kind of seeing, you know, the kids running around doing stuff, but I personally did not care for that stuff of the season. So if you aren't looking for stuff like that, then you might find the season kind of boring at first, but I think the payoffs are really great. I think Season 2 reaches some really high highs that rival Season 1 just in terms of quality and emotional payoff. If I had to say which season was scarier, I would probably say Season 1 is the overall scarier season because right away the conflict is established and you don't know anything about the Upside Down, so there's just way more mystery and discovery with that. Season 2 still has some good scary scenes in it, but it kind of takes a while for it to get going. It's more sporadically sprinkled throughout. That's a fun sentence, sporadically sprinkled. I think Season 2 is still an overall enjoyable season. I do prefer Season 1 because I think it is a more consistent ride, but I do like the emotional payoffs of Season 2. It definitely ends very satisfyingly. And that is how scary Stranger Things Season 2 is. Comment below what you would like me to go over next. Of course, I'm gonna have Season 3 coming out pretty soon in a couple of days, and then I will also be doing Stranger Things Season 4 shortly after the last 2 episodes come out. Very excited to do that. And that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.